So today we're going to take a look at a work in progress build of the console version for Prison Architect. It's going to be released later in 2016 on Xbox One, Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 4. Now, because of the way in which we record video, we need to tell you that we're actually running this build on a PC. So it's exactly the same as the console builds, looks like it, but recording it from a PC. I feel like I need to do terms and conditions. Terms and conditions apply. Right, enough of me, let's crack on. Double 11 presents an Introversion software title. Chris Delay's Prison Architect : Console Edition, open bracket, Xbox One vector, close bracket.
That's brilliant, mate. Xbox One vector, eh?
Yeah, because I couldn't say, right, console edition, open brackets, Xbox One edition, right?
Why not?
So I've used language that appeals to the geometrician audience by calling it a vector, you see?
That's interesting. That's a nice idea. I don't know why more people don't hire you for your voice, mate, for movie trailers, because I think you've got...
Oh, mate, I get asked all the time.
Really?
Yeah, you know, I'm hundreds of things drop through the letterbox. Anyway. So enough of that. So this is the console edition of Prison Architect. So a special update video for us. And there's me, who you all know. There's Chris, who you all know. And now we've got a new guy. We've got Designer Gaz. Hello, Gaz.
Hello there. Hi, Mark and Chris. How are you?
We're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
We've been fighting the internet for a long time and microphones and things, but we're getting through it now. Gaz is actually in the frozen north of the United Kingdom. So how's the wall looking up there, Gaz?
The view's pretty good.
The view's good.
Yeah, it's great.
Good for the wall. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's good. Nice bit of weather today.
Good. Game of Thrones in 2 months. Are you a fan?
Yes, I am a fan. Yeah, it's a shame they're not closer together because I kind of lose track of what's happened on the last season, so I need to refresh my memory again. But they keep saying the winter's coming, so maybe finally it will come.
Oh,
and,
for fuck's sake, winter's been coming for like 8 years. Hurry up! That goddamn writer, he needs to hurry up and spit some more novels out.
Oh, he's writing them fast. They filmed everything that he's written, and now he's basically in a dungeon somewhere where people are dropping bananas on him, telling him to write.
Yeah, and he still can't do it fast enough.
You're very unfair to him.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little bit mean. It's because I don't really like Game of Thrones. Did I admit that?
Right. Good. So, let's see some Prison Architect. Open brackets, console edition, Xbox One vector. Come on, let's see it.
All right. What should we do? Do you think we should like build a prison or something?
Yes.
All right.
So this is the attract mode, isn't it? This is looking good. We've been talking over attract mode. We don't have attract mode on PC.
No.
Because you've got Chrome. That's the attract mode.
Yeah.
Browser.
Well, there's a lot of things in this version that we don't have on the PC version, isn't there? Let's see. What kind of prison would you like us to build? Shall we build a, let's see, medium-sized, starting funds 100,000. Let's pick a warden, shall we? Which warden should we have? We could have J.W. Periwinkle. Claims he was a sapper in the war. True or not, he certainly knows everything about tunnels. This is the guy that makes escape tunnels easier to find, doesn't he?
Yeah, okay.
And I think we'll go with that guy.
Yeah.
This is nice. I mean, this is essentially like a difficulty. I mean, there is a difficulty setting right up here. I think it just gives you like quick options for all the lower options. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we have a number of preset difficulties for the console versions, but you can then drop down and adjust some of the other settings as well, so you can kind of customize your own difficulty. So, and of course, we've added the functionality to be able to start with extra cash from your previously sold prisons if you wish.
Ah, yeah. So you've actually got a mode here where Fog of War is off by default, so you just don't have to worry about not being able to see your prisoners killing each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I think that's kind of our preference is to be able to see everything, and but players can of course turn that back on again.
Yeah,
I
right.
think it's important to add these kind of new menus in for the console version as well to let players essentially play how they want to play.
Yeah, all right. You haven't got unlimited funds. Do you have unlimited funds as an option? Oh, there you go.
Yes, you can do unlimited funds. Yeah,
That's how you do
yeah.
it. It's just buried under the starting funds thing. All right, good
We've
stuff.
kind of balanced it so the some of the trophies won't be available with unlimited funds. So yeah, there's obviously a emphasis to play the core game as well if you want to kind of 100% the game. But if you just want to muck about in the sandbox, then yeah, most players will appreciate being able to start with lots of cash and not worry about being fired and that kind of thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I actually these days I actually quite like playing with unlimited funds. It's quite a nice way to test the game without having to worry too much about how much money you're spending on enormous buildings.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good kind of training ground as well for when you might want to go into kind of a higher difficulty with gangs and having to worry about your finance and grants and that kind of thing and being fired.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I know. Well, from the PC version, the thing that I always think is good to build first is to get your offices up and running and start getting bureaucracy underway. And it might be an appropriate time to leap straight in to our Quick Rooms cheat menu.
Sure, yeah.
And this is one of the big things that's different in the console version and the PC version, right? This ability to just instantly build something.
You'll see some new quick rooms in there as well since the last video that you guys did. So we added a canteen and a utilities one, which I think was based on some recommendation from the comments in your video. And I think I would like to say to like some of the viewers that or all the viewers in that respect, that I'm looking at all of the comments and the suggestions that people are putting on there for the console versions. So I think someone suggested, for example, I want to be able to rotate and flip the quick rooms.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
A few people like that idea, so we've added it. And someone else suggested a room for a utility, so straight away you can get up and running with a power station and a water pump station. So we've added that in as well, and there'll be more quick rooms to come.
Utility room, yeah, there you go. So it's like a power station with a capacitor and a water pump, and drainage already, just in case it floods, and it's all pre-wired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you're like ready to go straight away.
Nice.
And of course, you can kind of modify these rooms as well once they're made.
All right. Well, we'll have one of them then. All right. So I was actually going to make some offices, wasn't I? So let's have some office blocks up here because I want to get my warden up and running. I'll just do 3.
Gaz, while Chris is busy, tidying away rubbish and all those other fascinating stuff. Okay. Just tell me a little bit about 011. What's the kind of history behind the company, and what else how big are you? What else have you guys worked on?
Sure. So yeah, 011 was founded in December 2009 by ex-Rockstar vets, and wanted to make a company that was more about people and making fun games. So an example of Prison Architect, that's a game that we obviously, as you guys know, kind of pursued you guys, and it was of real interest to us, and pitched our ideas for this modern console version. And that's kind of the situation we've afforded ourselves now, where we can pick and choose the projects that we want to make, and we know we can make a good fun game and we'll enjoy it. And I think those two go hand in hand, and it's great kind of partnering up with you guys on that and working on the design together. Some of our previous titles, obviously the biggest one was probably Little Big Planet a few years back. Since then, we've worked on Goat Simulator. We've worked with some of the best developers in the world, the Playdead guys with Limbo, and
Introversion.
Yeah.
The best developer in the world.
Now you guys, Q Games, Coffee Stain with Goat Simulator, and yeah, I see this as a great. It sounds a bit cheesy and maybe sucking up, but it's great to work with you guys, and I think it's a kind of we see it at 011 as an evolution of porting in a way. We sometimes call it Port Plus. I think personally, I think the porting thing is a bit of not a dirty word, but there's a big difference between a straight port and the kind of the things we do. And I often wish there was a better term for it, because we do pour our heart and soul into these games, and do listen to the console players as well as the PC gamers, what they might like to see in a console version, and try and do a great job on it, and go far beyond what would typically be a straight port.
Nice, very nice. Can I file a bug report?
You can, yeah.
The warden's invisible. He has a special ability, which appears to be that he has a predator-style invisibility shield, because I've hired him and I know he's in there, all right, but he's not showing up. So there you go, bug number 1 for the Xbox version. We'll see how many.
We better tweet.
See how many we can find.
Today.
Yeah, I think that's to do with some of. Sorry, go on, Mark.
I was thinking about 011 recently, and I think I've got a metaphor to explain kind of what you guys are. You know. Now, I don't know. You must be a Top Gear fan, right? Everyone watches Top Gear, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, my background is in driving and racing games as well, so yeah, definitely.
Lost you. I don't know whether you got that or not. I don't know. But on Top Gear, they would have car tuning companies, right? So these would be companies that would take an awesome car, like I don't know, a Land Rover or a Mercedes or a Ferrari or whatever, and then the tuning company would just make something that was already awesome better. You know, they would just pay attention to all the details. They'd fill in the blanks. They'd bring a whole new kind of ethos to elevating what was already fantastic at the start. And that's how I've come to kind of think of you guys and what you've done with PA:console edition, which is you've taken something which was already brilliant and tuned it and made it better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thanks for the compliment and the praise as well. And yeah, that's exactly kind of how we feel as well. And it's, you know, we want to do a good job on things, but we want to have fun as well. You know, doing a straight port for me and kind of ticking all the boxes and that's it isn't very fun, isn't very challenging as a designer. You know, and I want to, you know, have a lot of fun making these games as well. So it's, yeah, definitely want to improve them with as much features and new content as we can. It's a bit of an expectation as well, you know, the console market asking for, and it's just as much about having that console feel. And with the whole overhaul of the UI and the controls and things, once you change one UI, you're kind of like, well, now this one kind of needs changing as well, and this one needs changing, and it ends up, you know, kind of snowball into a much bigger project than you initially may have thought. But I think that's the beauty of it, and you know, seeing the fact that your fans and some of the console gamers who have their eye on the game as well really appreciate everything we're doing with the game.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is going to accuse you of just doing a straight port. Just having, because I've played a fair amount of this version.
Hopefully not.
The amount of interface.
We're definitely not doing that.
Yeah, the amount of interface change is incredible. I mean, it's literally every screen in the game has been re-envisaged for a controller input and a big television. It's such a fundamental change to the interface that sits on top of the game simulation. It's quite surprising, actually. I'm actually surprised at just how much redesign has gone in. You know, it's not just like a few screens. It's like you say, you change one screen and then you have to change everything.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, we want to kind of impress you guys in the PC community as well. And when we look at kind of a console player that will play this game, it's because, you know, the console gamers want to be able to do everything just as fast as the PC players could with a mouse. So, you know, but having every option around the screen, you know, assigned to a different button isn't the answer, because console players obviously want to have a minimalist kind of OSD or heads-up display as well. So it's kind of like a very tricky challenge to kind of start with essentially an open screen and then be able to embed all of the UIs with, you know, be able to get them with only have a couple of button presses.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Let's have some more of these guys. So I'm just basically, while you guys were talking, I'm just basically building what I would consider to be a pretty minimal holding cell for our first batch of prisoners to live in. We should do some research as well, shouldn't we? We should actually make use of our invisible warden.
Yeah, I think that's we're making some changes to the sprites because we're adding new wardens in the game and some new staff members.
Yeah, right.
Or new variations of wardens as well. So maybe there's a bug with the sprites not displaying. Of course, it is work in progress. We're slated for a spring release of the game as well. So.
Yeah. You
still
unlock?
Still a few months off.
Yeah. I'm still here. I'm just looking at this beautiful bureaucracy screen.
I know. I was looking at it. I love the fact that the warden on the left, where he should be, is actually invisible even in this screen. It's totally brilliant. Even here, he's got his teleportation screen on. He's got his invisibility cloak on.
I can guarantee that will be fixed today, if not tomorrow. Now that I've seen that.
Yeah, I think we're probably really annoying Gaz at this point, aren't we?
Yeah, people are running
three
around.
years of critical bugs in the PC version, and we're laughing at the amazing work they've done on it.
It's good to find this stuff. Yeah, there's all kind of unusual bugs that we found. There was one the other day where we tweaked some of the prisoner rules of the different family members they could have, because we found that prisoners could have several different wives and have several like 10 to 20 daughters and sons and things.
What?
And whilst that was quite funny,
that's not possible. That I'm certain that doesn't happen in the PC version. He said hopefully.
I've never seen it before, so it's these things pop up, and it's quite funny. But the issue is that it doesn't all fit on the UI, and you end up with the text spilling off to the side. So we're going to rein it in a bit, so they can't have more than 5 daughters and 5 sons.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, you must have seen some clangers of bugs coming through in the PC version. Definitely. I mean, for a while, I think we broke the game pretty much every month, didn't we? When it was especially during the alpha. So there we go.
I love what you guys did with the community kind of bug input stuff, where they could vote up and down the types of bugs they would like to see fixed. I thought that was a great idea. Even before we obviously partnered up, I remember watching a lot of your videos and that's a cool idea to kind of really fix the issues that the community want, especially in the early access.
Yeah, because I mean, we didn't know, Gaz, how many people were actually going to register for accounts and fill in bugs. We had no idea, and fairly quickly the database just became unwieldy.
Yeah, some people might put bugs in that just aren't bugs, or they think it's a great idea, but then the rest of the community kind of give it thumbs down because they'd rather see something else, and everyone kind of gets their own way in a way, and you guys would fix the issues that were the most popular, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I guess at this point it's good to say that I was a big fan of the original game as well. So when we talk about the projects that we want to work on at Double 11, this was high on my list, and the directors as well. Even before we met, that I was a big fan of the original game, and I was a backer of the original game as well. I remember seeing it at Rezzed first time about a few years ago. So for me, it's a bit surreal being on this video talking to you guys.
Yeah, well, it's a bit surreal for us too. It's a weird thing to see, because it's kind of like it's this game that we've worked on for so long, and it's kind of just been us at Introversion, for ages, just us working on the game, and then this version started getting developed, and suddenly there's all this new work going on. All this new user interface work, all these new improvements to the game, all these new different ways of looking at the same game. And this is what happens if you take a game that we've made and another company imparts their own priorities on it, because the user interface design is probably never the top priority for Introversion. We're always more interested in the simulation and the content of the game in that terms. But it's really obvious to me that that with Double 11 and with you in particular, Gaz, that user interface design is kind of like one of the main things that actually motivates you.
Definitely. I'd probably say I'm obsessed a bit with user
Obsessed.
interface design.
Yeah, I think we can tell. Yeah.
But I just find it so key, especially like Double Eleven's a studio that we don't have 5 or 6 years of development time on a game, so we can't iterate over and over again and go put this UI, no, it doesn't work, rip it out, start again, that kind of thing. We need to be really efficient with our time, so mapping out
Yeah.
everything and then obviously running it by you guys as well has been a great help. And is as
This
well
quick
where
build menu is legendary. I love this quick build.
yeah, it's one of our favourites. I find it useful just for if I want to build a room myself. But I'm like, what rooms haven't I made yet? I haven't made a shop. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll say what should a shop look like? Okay, that's kind of roughly what I want to go with, but I want to maybe make mine a bit bigger. Um,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
and
I
then
think
the UI then sorry, go on.
once you have that quick build, I think you just you don't go back.
Well, it was important for us not to have like every single room and like say 20 variations of cells because we want players to, still feel empowered to create their own cells and their own types of prisons. So
Yeah.
it is a kind of a quick option to get going, but once you learn, you might use the quick rooms to stamp down some cells and then modify them a bit, or just to kind of inspire you to the types of rooms you haven't made yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's great for different players to use it in different ways.
There's quite a nice feature there I noticed as well, where you can just mouse over, well, you cursor over any wall, and you can get a quick build for doors. If you just want to put a door here, it's quite neat.
Yeah, that's another thing we've added as well. Essentially, that we've spent a lot of time on the construction side of the UI and the messaging and new features
Yeah.
and things. And I would argue that some things are maybe even quicker without the mouse in the console version. At least that's what we've kind of tried to do.
Challenge.
Goes down Chris's
Challenge
spine.
accepted.
What do you
PC
think is
versus
the hardest
console.
thing to bring across, Gaz? What was the toughest challenge?
I think the controls. I mean, the controls and the UI go hand in hand. But I remember an early meeting with you guys where you'd obviously had much more experience of the game at that point, and you wanted to have this control to be able to adjust the time with one button at any time. Because from your experience, you found that players would want to quickly speed up time if they were saying making a lot of construction, or they wanted to instantly pause it to deal with an emergency such as a fire, for example. So we had to kind of figure out a way to free up. Obviously, you can see in this builder that it's on the Y button. We had to figure a way to kind of free that up at all
It works
times.
nice.
So
It works nice. You just hold down the Y button and you get the little time controls. It's good. You get once you've learned it,
exactly,
it becomes pretty second nature. I remember you worrying that there weren't enough buttons on the controller, and that you wouldn't be able to free it up.
So we created we then evolved that Y option to be a bit more kind of information as well about some of the stuff on the OSD, such as your cash coming in, and how your prisoners feel. And there's also a quick undo option will be a part of that kind of context as well.
I'm being a div breed. I need to hire my guy, don't I? I need to hire my staff.
Gaz,
There we
what
go.
are the main differences, if any, between the different platforms? Because we've got Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PS4. Were there any, particular differences between the different builds? I mean, in terms of full disclosure, we should probably tell everyone, in order to capture the video, the way we do it is we run a build on the PC that kind of simulates the console version. But Gaz, what are the differences?
Well, we tried to keep pretty much parity between them all. The console versions will run at the Xbox One versions and PS4 versions will run at 60 frames a second, pretty smooth, even on the most huge of prisons. The 360 we're trying to get as fast as possible, but at a minimum bar it'll run at 30 frames per second. Aside from that, they pretty much have parity. Obviously, one has trophies, one has achievements, that kind of thing. But there's no exclusive content to speak of at the moment. But there may be, like, watch this space, and we may introduce some new stuff in the form of maps and wardens and that kind of thing.
In terms of the interface, though, are they sufficiently close for you to be able to do one mapping that works on both controllers, or did you have to kind of move things around a bit?
No, it's very close, almost identical. The controllers, even the 360, Xbox One, and PS4, are all very similar in terms of the button layout and the buttons they
Yeah.
have. Um, the PS4 has that extra kind of touchpad control, but we haven't mapped that to anything at the moment. So yeah, it was quite easy to have the consistent mapping. Obviously, if we decided to do like a Wii version or something like that down the line, we would have to change it completely because it's such a different controller.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're building it in 3D space. You're crazy. You have to like pick up bricks.
Yeah, yeah. Shake the paint can or something before you can paint the walls and that kind of thing.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing that on some games in the past.
I just run out of power. This always happens to me.
How are you finding the controls, Chris?
It's really good. I mean, I've played it quite a lot, so I know it quite well. But I've always thought that it works really well. It's I've never had a problem with it. You know, I've always found that stuff generally works how you expect. It's surprising because it's a very mouse and keyboard driven game on the PC. You know, I think the key thing is remapping all of the this general user interface concept of the sort of horizontal bar at the bottom that you can bump a button through and then D-pad through. That's sort of the key, I think, to all the construction screens. They're all essentially the same. They all work on the same paradigm.
Yeah, that's true. Being able to essentially have control of the main game area and the UI in the bottom at the same time. We tried doing a version where like you would have to select the objects and then you wouldn't have any control of the map behind. Then you select the objects and then you could place them and then you would go back. But it was just too slow. Especially if just building something as simple as a cell, you want to build the foundations, the walls, the doors, and the objects. And often you have in mind what you want to make. And if you had to back out too many times to do that, it just was a bit frustrating. So that was, I guess, one of the learning processes. And we changed this to be, an open carousel, which we carried across the entire design. And I guess from Mark's point before, one of the challenges was keeping that carousel as small as possible, but also having the information that you'd need to have.
Nice. I was just admiring your changed version of the of the guard deployment screen. Has this lovely little highlighting effect.
Oh yeah.
That's neat. That it's quite a nice clean display of which sector you're currently highlighting.
Yeah, this is currently work in progress. So this is one of the newest things. Literally started the other day. So this is kind of one of the next things we're polishing, and we're going to carry that kind of design across to some of the other logistic views as well, such as the cell grading. So you can kind of you select a prisoner's cell, and then it's really easy to see his cell, and then choose what objects you want to upgrade it with.
Oh, well, we'll have a look at that if we look at a bigger prison slightly later. I just
Sure.
I had intake turned off on the first day, so I didn't get any prisoners. So that's why our prison is still empty, despite the fact that I've actually built quite a lot.
Yeah, I think we've defaulted it to off in our version. Just so that you're not bombarded with them, the prisoners, until you're ready.
Yeah.
But at any time you can get some new prisoners in.
Yeah, I've turned it on now, I think.
Yeah.
Let me see. Where was that? Here it is. In here, isn't it? Intake. There you go.
Yeah.
And these are some of the screens that got the biggest redesigns of all, aren't they? They're sort of less construction area and more the kind of logistics and reports of your prison. You know? This stuff looks completely different.
Yeah, the construction stuff can all use a similar UI, and the hiring staff UI is a bit similar to the construction as well. But each one of these, when we looked at them, was like they're all completely different kind of menus. So yeah, they've all needed a bespoke design as well.
It's like the old report screen, isn't it, from the PC version? There was always a sort of A4 page that showed up on the right of the screen. So it was like the worst case scenario for a console design.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was great for the PC, but we wanted to take up less room as well, and I mean, it was just unavoidable to have to redesign a lot of these UIs for controller and not have a mouse, and we didn't want. We knew we'd have to have the mouse in the game area, to be able to quickly drag and drop and select things, but in the UIs, we wanted to make it as kind of quick as possible without using a mouse. So, and also not using the Y button for the time controls.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we've got our first prisoners. Oh my God, look at that! There's me, and I'm invisible. I've got.
How are you?
I've got invisible as well. I don't know. What are the odds of that? Eh? What are the odds? Christoph abandoned delay.
Do you know? I had a meeting the other day. Right, I had a meeting with some guys, and they said, "Oh, Mark, we didn't recognise you. You're not as fat in real life."
Well, there you go. What does it mean?
Said.
Oh
That's
my God, there's
from
you.
Your prisoner spite of me.
That's Gaz, right? See, I suspect some
programmers
at Double 11 have
say
frigged
that
this.
I look skinnier in the game.
Nice. You have a 21-year-old girlfriend, according to your bio.
Good man.
That's not true.
Prison Architect never lies, my friend. Let's see. So the game was telling me that I need to do some stuff. I need to do without water. I did hire some guards, and I don't have enough guards, I think. I need to hire some more guards.
Well, maybe those are invisible as well at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think so. Hire staff. I assigned them all, that's what happened. I've assigned them all to be deployed. There we go. Prison Architect doesn't really come alive until you get prisoners in your prison, is it? That's the point when all your preparation suddenly starts to come under scrutiny. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot to build a fence. That happens quite a lot.
I think that's the beauty of some of the warden maps as well. To be able to, if players want to just jump in, they can do that, and they can obviously change the warden maps themselves and demolish everything or add room if they so wish. So they can make it themselves or even add land as well, and also be inspired by the types of different maps that you could build.
Yeah. Nice.
I tend to play with unlimited cache a lot, and I want to make an entire prison before I get some inmates in. But if you're playing
you're one of those players, are you? Who sort of plans out his entire prison and builds a completely empty, perfect prison before he dares let prisoners sully his work.
Yeah, exactly that. I like to have everything up and running first, and then get some prisoners in so I can start adding some reform programs in classrooms and things.
Yeah, nice.
I think that's just kind of my personality of a lot of games. I remember when I used to play Worms with friends, I'd be like, let's just use the first 4 turns to build a base each. No attacking. I want to make a base and put loads of girders everywhere and everything.
Yeah, and I bet all your mates attacked you anyway.
Yeah, they would just airstrike me one after the other and kill me before they'd even game had begun.
So in theory, I should be able to make an entire cell block now without using anything other than the quick build menu. Right? I should be able to just stamp these down like this. If I put these down like this and then build a sort of hallway in front of them, that'll do for my first cell block, won't it?
Yeah, it should, yeah. Depending on how you have them arranged, you may need to add foundations down the middle or something like that. But the cell blocks come with foundations, so yeah, you can easily do a line of cells pretty quickly. And the walls obviously share as well, so you can overlap cells as you're doing and have them kind of join together.
Yeah. Let's see, like that. There you go.
We've got the quick wall demolish option in now as well, which is assigned to left shoulder button, so you can easily demolish walls or entire areas pretty quickly now as well if you want to make some quick changes to some of your structures.
Yeah. Or if you want to let all your prisoners out.
Yeah, yeah.
I see quite a lot of people doing that on YouTube. It seems to be a common thing with Prison Architect. Like you reach a point where you're kind of done with the prison you've been building, and then you just let all your prisoners out. And I guess it's like the old SimCity disaster tools, you know.
Yeah, I think it's quite funny to see that even sometimes by accident where you've left a hole in the wall and the prisoners will eventually find it. And I'm sure like some players do kind of play like that as well, where they'll create kind of puzzle prisons and see if the prisoners can actually find out how to get out from the one little opening in the wall.
And I see here we have a classic Prison Architect conundrum whereby, if I just pause it there, they've built everything and now they're building the cells and they've forgotten about these little 4 concrete floor jobs that are right here, and they're stopping the entire building from being finished. And I know you were telling me earlier that I can now press this magic button. You can press green on any job that's in progress to prioritize it, and your workmen will do that in priority to everything else.
Yeah, that's correct. So we found that we wanted to kind of prevent players from thinking they have to just hire more staff to get something done. But at times you might be building something else somewhere else. Say if you're building a massive kind of set of foundations elsewhere in your prison, and then you kind of forget about that and you start building a cell block as you are, Chris, then you want that to be done immediately. Or it might be, like you say, it might be a wall that needs to be plugged to stop prisoners escaping. So you can make that job the highest priority thing straight away.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a nice idea. Let's see. Interesting. So this is an all new interface for me. I've never really messed with this interface before. This is how you set the regime for your prisoners. Lunchtime at 8. I always give them a lot more free time. I always think that when in all my prisons, free time is kind of the key to a happy prison, I always find.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't play it that way. A lot of people go the other way and sort of be as harsh as they possibly can. But I always think, because I think it's because I wrote the needs system. So underneath the surface, I kind of know that I need to meet all my prisoners' needs, or I'm going to have to pay for that later in riots and deaths. Some people just don't care.
I tend to be a nice warden as well, so I often play my game based on the prisoner needs. So I look at the needs and see where the kind of the red bars or the orange bars are, and then pan across to the regime and adjust my prison based on that. So if they're complaining of hygiene or lack of sleep, then I will adjust that for them. So the prisoners have me wrapped around their finger.
Yeah, nice. Let's see. I want bureaucracy. I want some logistics. That's what I need. It's micromanagement, isn't it? Need to see my logistics views. I think that. Oh no, it's fine. I was going to say that I thought I'd found another bug, but I haven't. It's fine.
I'm sure there's going to be a few bugs in, and we're kind of like winding down now and adding the rest of the last of the features, and it's going to come down to pure bug fixing in the last couple of months.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It's looking really good. It's looking really solid. It's a really solid build. It's really interesting. It's like I don't know what it's like. It's like a cover version. You know what I mean? It's like someone's done the acoustic cover version. And it's actually better than the original in many ways.
Thanks very much.
for a different audience, This is the cover version for Xbox players.
I just think the whole game's such a cool concept. So for us, it was a no-brainer to try to bring it onto a console market. Of course, there's the challenge of the controls and the UI, but I think once you've got that right, I think it's just such a cool concept. That's what kind of hooked me from the start, building prisons and dealing with your inmates. Yeah. It feels to me like a more grown-up kind of management game where you're not so much managing like happy villages in a forest, that kind of thing. You're running a prison with brutal inmates, but it has that same feel where the prison is essentially the town and the villages are the the interesting twist where it's a prison, so the inmates don't want to be there. So they will raise hell if they want their own way or try to escape and cause riot.
I think that's kind of the magic of the game, I think, isn't it? In the sense that it is essentially a construction game, and in some senses there is an enemy army, but your enemy army lives within your base and is actually one of your resources that you have to look after.
Exactly.
If you don't look after your enemy army, they'll destroy you.
That's good. It's a good analogy. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the console players want to play fun games like everyone else. But it's about for the challenge for us and other developers with these types of mouse and keyboard heavy games is just creating an experience that feels natural as a console game to them. So it's not so much about let's make the game super easy and these types of things. It's just making sure, at least with Prison Architect, that it's just as immediate and as quick to do things as it would be on PC.
Yeah. Should we? Do you think it's time to move on to a different prison?
Yeah,
Sure,
absolutely.
yeah.
I think we should.
All right. Let's leave that fella behind then.
So on the
Save
PC version, obviously we've got the Steam Workshop. So there are thousands, probably tens of thousands of prisons that you can just load up and play straight away. But obviously they don't exist on the console version. So I had to reach out recently and ask some of the players that created some phenomenal prisons whether or not they would be happy for us to bundle them up with the console edition. And luckily, everybody that I asked said that they were happy for us to do so. But Gaz, when you picked the prisons, how did you choose the ones that you decided to bundle with the console version?
This is the list, isn't it?
It's a good question. We looked at the most popular ones on the Steam Workshops as well, but we wanted to have obviously a good variation of shape and size. The island one is kind of my favourite.
Yeah,
but,
it looks really awesome.
I think there's one right at the end that's just a brutal kind of Supermax, like really big, and that can show players a bit about the type of scale of prisons that they could have. So we just wanted to kind of broad mix. I mean, we are adding more as well going forward, and some of our own designs as well that the Double 11 level designers are creating.
Yeah.
So this prison is just crazy.
That was the biggest. It is insane, isn't it? Yeah. Even as the person that made this game originally, this is amazing to me.
Yeah.
I just look at this and I just think that's incredible. Look at all the work.
It's crazy. I mean, one thing that I love. I mean, how long did that take to load? I mean, that was like a second, if that.
Yeah,
absolutely. To load that map with all the people running around it. And things.
Yeah, it runs really well, absolutely. So all this stuff simulating, all these AI routines and stuff. And what is that? I think 50 odd simulation layers, all running on top of each other to make the world look vibrant and alive, like it's a place.
Yeah,
it just runs. It's nice.
Yeah, I like the warden maps, and it was important for us to be able to add those in, but allow players to kind of demolish things and add things if they want. And we've added the feature to the console version as well to be able to add water and add dirt. So you could create your own lakes and rivers and islands like Alcatraz and the one in the Warden map if you so wish.
We'll give that a try, shall we? Let's have a look. So I think the piano island. Here we go. So this one's basically like Alcatraz with a bridge, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. we're not going to add boats in yet, but that would be a cool thing for the future. I think to have real island prisons where the intake comes from a boat or from a helicopter or something. Maybe one for the future. But this is one of my favourite prisons.
You were saying that you thought you could build. If I put some doors down this outer wall, if I just ruin the security and add a door there, say. You're saying we can actually build over this water now and change it?
Yeah, as long as the workers can get to it, so you may have to add a couple of entranceways and doors, then you can add dirt over the top of water now to expand islands or to just get rid of the water. If you have a nice map but there's too much water in there, in architect mode, then you can start building your own land on top of it. And there's
see
kind of
what
a bit
happens.
of
There we go.
a shaping as well. You know, you can create these lakes and then, you know, shape around them to get a nice shaped lake with adding dirt over the top.
It's really cool. That track
So
job
this kind
feature
of
is really handy, actually. Is you want to know where the guy is that's going to install that door, you know, because he's the one that's going to hold everything up. And on this particular map, he has to take quite a long roundabout route to actually get to the place where he can install that door. It's like, where the hell is he going?
Yeah, these guys are. I think it's just because the storage on this map's quite low down. So yeah, they do take a bit of a long route around.
There you go.
But you could fix that by adding some more doorways and
Yeah,
corridors
absolutely.
and things.
All right, so let's see. Maybe I can prioritize all of these.
I think it's really cool to be able to track the jobs as well and see who's going to be building what and where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, are you guys seeing this now?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, so they're building a kind of a little pathway over to the island. I
It's
can't
really cool.
guarantee they won't get stuck in this build,
Yeah,
but
it looks like they have a little bit, doesn't it? It looks like they've got a little bit confused. But they're getting there in the end, aren't they? Look at that, that's weird.
yeah, it's still this idea is still kind of in development. But yeah, you can build like any kind of land and water shape you want as well. But we're just fine tuning it to make sure that the workers aren't kind of silly enough to create a kind of a ring of water all around them because they can't swim.
Yeah, get themselves stuck. Yeah.
They will do it.
It
Why
does,
not?
it does happen if you build the earth in a certain order. You can trap them there, but hopefully not in the final game.
Nice.
And if they do,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can always fire them.
Sacked for idiotically following instructions to build a moat around himself and then complaining that he wasn't able to swim to safety.
Just call it a feature, you know?
Yeah.
How many times we've seen pictures of people sitting on tree branches, you know, sawing the branch off? People do stupid things, Gaz, you know?
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So this is obviously a much more mature prison, isn't it? So they've got everything's unlocked pretty much, and all the reports are available for all the prisoners. Let's see.
Yeah, so we took these pre-made prisons, but we've kind of tweaked them for the console game because essentially they represent a saved state with a number of prisoners and guards in, but we still wanted to let the console players begin at day one or begin at day zero, if you like. So yeah, we've kind of modified them a bit to ensure that that you can do that.
Very nice.
So you're not.
Should we try and
Sorry,
should we try and do some sort of like a luxury cell or something, and try and bring out just pick one prisoner and have him have the best cell in the entire prison? Because I noticed that they've only got standard cells on this prison everywhere.
That sounds like a
Who's
good
gonna be the
idea.
lucky guy?
Hey.
Who's going to be the lucky guy?
Well, I'm wondering if we could put him all the way out here. Should we put him all the way out here on his own little island?
Yeah. This island paradise.
Yeah, I'm just going to see how much I can break this new feature. So, let's see. What do I want?
Give him his own swimming pool now as well.
Construction, quick build, quick rooms, luxury cell. Here we go. So yeah, luxury cell right on the edge of that. So he's going to have one hell of a view, isn't he? He's just going to be like basically out there in the middle of nowhere. Put down a bit of flooring.
Yeah. One thing I find is if I find a kind of prisoner I like, or I find myself in the game or one of you guys, I will try to build a luxury cell. But then I often find that your prisoner isn't deserving of it, so you make this really nice cell and then they get taken away from the guards.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as soon as they cause trouble, their rating of what kind of cell they deserve is dramatically downgraded. But they should get something. You know, there should always be somebody in it. Let's see. It's under reports. Where's the prison grading stuff?
Oh, it should be under
Cell grading.
in logistics, I think.
Ah, yes. Logistics. Yes, here we go. So you've got your prison labour screen. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and if you go over to cell quality,
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I think these screens weren't working last time I looked. Yeah. Laundry services. Cell quality. Here we go. Yeah, so if you pick a room like this one, it can tell us. Here you go. Look at that.
yeah.
So as they install more and more facilities, we should get more and more higher quality.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we've added a few little tweaks to this as well, so you can actually buy the objects within this context now. So I think previously you would have to kind of maybe think, well, what objects am I missing, and then back out, and then kind of remember, and then go
Bring
back
all the way
in.
up to the construction menu. Yeah, absolutely.
But now you can
You just pick something and add another, and give them another chair in the middle of the room or something.
Exactly. Yeah, you can do it
So it
within
sort of
this,
suggests
within
to
this
you.
context.
It's like it's suggesting to you the things that you might want to put in order to improve it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of one of the pillars we've tried to have throughout the game of giving players some ideas and inspiration if they want to do it. Obviously, you can make the most brutal prison you want if you wish, but we have these different links between the UIs where, for example, you make a room and it'll then tell you the objects you're missing, and then you can click a button and then buy those objects. So it kind of leads you through that process quite nicely.
Nice.
Once you get quite deep in the game as well, if you've hired all of your different staff, they will start to give you tips, and they'll pop up from time to time and suggest things like, say, for example, if there's a lot of contraband coming into the prison, say weapons and tools, your security chief may suggest building metal detectors on the entrance, or if it's drugs and alcohol being snuck in, then they might suggest buying sniffer dogs to help combat that.
Yeah.
So lots of different suggestions if the players kind of want some inspiration of what they should be doing next.
Yeah, I've noticed that coming up. It's quite handy to have those things. I think particularly for new players, as I know that Prison Architect is still fairly difficult for new players. To go from a blank map to, this kind of complexity seems impossible when you first play. You can't really imagine how anyone could ever do it. But you just learn, don't you? I guess.
Yeah, and I
water
think
over here, aren't they? It's going to need its own water.
I think giving players those kind of tips to the kind of things they could be doing. Like the game will almost know the type of map that you're making, and then give you suggestions, based on that.
Nice.
I think that's the balance of creating these island prisons that you make it really secure, but there's a trade-off between your delivery times and that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Right, let's see. I'm going to give him some grass. I think it's not quite nice enough yet. Maybe an outer lip of concrete tiles. That's what we want. Yeah.
Does he have his own shower?
He's got his own shower inside his luxury cell. There's no one in there yet, so I'm just trying to make it a bit nicer generally. This is where you put the mafia don.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think
Bribes all the right people.
You need to have a prisoner that's kind of worthy of it, or a prison that's completely full, so someone will have that cell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's so luxurious that I don't know if anyone deserves it yet.
Yeah, right. Well, I bet he can't get there anyway. That would be another factor, wouldn't it? If we look at the deployment, I bet the security on it is set to be staff only. Yeah, it is. You see, he's got no way to get there because there's only a staff only outer wall.
Right. Yeah. So it needs to be a shared one.
I need to do this in such a way that he can't escape. Right, let's do it right here. I think the accountant's just going to have to be unlucky. The accountant's going to have to get a door to her office. There you go. Lucky you. All right, cool. Is there more stuff to show, Mark? What do you think?
No, I think we're about there. Given that we can't show the world of wardens at the moment in this build, Gaz, can you just talk a little bit about how Prison Share on the consoles will work?
Yeah, sure. So the World of Wardens is a new feature that we've added. So it's essentially a community area for players to share and download other players' prisons. So you'll be able to go in there and manage your own prisons. So you can share any of your own prisons, and then other players can then download them and rate them. If you're searching for prisons, potentially you just want to see what's out there or you want some inspiration, then you can search for the highest rated prisons, because everyone can rate each other's prisons, or you can search for the most downloads a prison has. In addition to that, you can also search for a specific player name, an architect name, or a prison name. So, for example, if someone's told you there's this awesome prison called Paradise Island, for example, then you can type that in. Likewise, if you know there's a specific players who are really credible as architects, you can type them in and see the kind of prisons they're making. And a bit similar to the warden maps, once you download them, you can make them your own. You can demolish it, you can add more land, you can expand it, and do whatever you want, just as you could in the core game. And yeah, change them however much you like. We'll also be showcasing some of the best designs that we see, because we get to see all of them, and we'll be showcasing them on our official 011 Prison Architects website. So we'll pick some of the best ones that we've seen.
So you'll be shining the spotlight of fame down upon the best architects in the community.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we get to see all of them. They all get saved to a server, obviously. So we'll pick and choose the ones that we just think are cool design, and we'll look at the highest rated ones, and then we'll credit them on our site as well. I think it's kind of cool to inspire players as well to see the types of things they could build, because as you guys have found, people just build some amazing stuff that you would never even imagined or had time for.
Yeah, it's when you build a game like this, when as developers, most of the work goes into the simulation. Seeing the fruits of the players' labours is just wonderful. Just keeps on giving. Cool. Well, I think we're about done. Is there anything that we've missed, Gaz, that you particularly want us to cover?
No, I think you guys have covered it pretty well. It's a huge game, so perhaps we can do more in the future. There's the website, if people are interested in following what's going on. I think it's going to grow as a big companion to the game, is prisonarchitect.11.com, and it's already kind of up and running.
Yeah, they can get to it from prison.
There's content now to be able to join the forums and look at the news and things.
Here we go.
What is it? Prisonarchitect.11.
Here we go.
Prisonarchitect.11.com. There'll be more features and trailers and images and content going on. It's kind of in development at the moment, but it exists and it's out there.
Nice. All right.
Lots of cool, exciting and secret things appearing on there, different competitions and exclusive content and things like that. And it's all completely free, obviously, so yeah, check it out.
Right, everybody, thanks for watching. That was Mark, Chris, and Designer Gaz taking a look at the console build of Prison Architect for Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PS4. If you want to find out more about the console build, you can head over to prisonarchitect.11.com for all sorts of cool competitions and pictures and all sorts of stuff. So go over there and have a look on the forums. If you haven't done already, subscribe to our YouTube channel for monthly update videos about Prison Architect and everything else that we do at Introversion. There's super cool videos which you all want to watch. Right, that's it. Bye.